Hello and welcome to the League of Average Gaming. I'm your host, League Master Jetchnord, back with more Crusader Kings 3 tutorial as Petty King Murtad MacDonshad of Munster. We are in Tutorial 9, Titles, Dynasty and House. Family is important. The player heir will always come from your dynasty, and most often from your house. In the future, it won't hurt to keep an eye on your family and their line of succession. Depending on their succession laws, you might end up inheriting titles, along with land and vassals from your relatives. Land and titles. Not everyone in your dynasty will be landowners, but every plot of land on the map has an owner. Sometimes that owner is you, sometimes it's one of your vassals, and sometimes it's another realm entirely, many of whom also have or are vassals. Most titles are structured together in a pyramid-like fashion using title tier. County, making you a count or countess. Duchy, making you a duke or duchess. Kingdom, making you a king or queen. Empire, making you an emperor or empress. Every tier belongs to a title, one rank up the chain. Every county is technically part of a duchy, every duchy is technically part of a kingdom, and every kingdom is technically part of an empire. Note, there are many dynamic names for these titles as well. Your current ruler is in charge of a petty kingdom, which corresponds to the duchy tier. There are also barons, the minor rulers of single holdings beneath counts. These characters are generally quite minor and unplayable. You do have one, the mayor of Venice. De jure titles. We say technically because as Crusader Kings lets you play with history, there is no way to guarantee that a king is actually in charge of all the titles that his kingdom is supposed to contain within its borders. We call this title hierarchy de jure. And if the structure has been broken, it is often possible to declare war over such territories. If you switch to the Duchy titles map mode, you can see that as the ruler of the Duchy of Munster, the County of Desmond should legally be a part of your realm. The different map modes can help give you an overview of the de jure title structure of the world. Change to the Duchy titles map mode. That's the one glowing here with you. Okay. So, Munster. Yes, this is supposed to be ours. Several other duchies I see. And of course, they're all over the world, but not relevant to us right now here in Ireland. Return to the realms map mode with E. Okay. Because yes, with the WASD now being part of movement instead of the arrows, which you can still use the arrows if you are fond of that for some reason, but I like that WASD as movement now. So the shortcuts for the map modes slightly different. Anyway, I understand. Chapter 10, Holdings. Your holdings. The de jure title of Munster consists of 3 counties. Their names should be visible on the map. Thomond, held by you, Desmond, held by a neighboring ruler, and Ormond, held by your vassal. These counties are made up of smaller pieces of land called baronies. It's on this level we find your holdings. Holdings represent settlements in your land. Holdings provide different levels of taxes and levies, as well as buildings that you can construct and upgrade, depending on the holding type. It is not very important what you build right now, but we suggest you start by upgrading the bastions and curtain walls. Click on your capital holding, Numek, and order the construction of a building. So we have been told that we should upgrade the bastions and curtain walls. This one, which affects our garrison tax and fort level, it looks like. Let's see, we'll click on that, and we want to go to level 2 now, so we'll go to a bailey. We're going from the first step for any respectable fortification is the erection of bastions and curtain walls. They do a decent job of keeping enemies and riding peasants at bay. To a bailey. A bailey is the perfect and most defensible place to store critical supplies that will see us through a siege, such as weapons, armor, and pickled boar's head. So we'll increase the holdings, everything, tax fort level garrison by double, and then providing supply limit to the entire county. And those go all the way up to tier 8. Nice. And I assume those are locked behind... Well, you have to build that building first. You can't just jump straight ahead. And innovations, which we have not got to innovations yet. So, all right, there you go. They didn't care what we did. We were upgrading what they recommended, though. Well done. It will take some time for the building to be ready, though. Luminac wasn't built in a day. Once your construction is completed, you will receive the benefits of the building you chose. Well, fantastic. I'll close that. Every holding provides taxes to their holder. If that holder is a vassal, they will also pay taxes to their liege. Taxes provide your main income of gold. Obligations can affect how high or low these taxes are. Times of war also affects the level of control in a county, which in turn affects taxes. I understand. We're making 2.02 in taxes. Vassals, Chapter 11. As a ruler, you are likely to be the liege of at least one vassal. These are rulers within your realm who have sworn fealty to you. Vassals supply you with money, taxes, and soldiers, levies. It is possible to both be a liege and a vassal at once. Open the realm view on the right side of the screen, highlighted, so that is F2. Here is a list of your current vassals, along with some additional information about them. At the top of the list is the ruler of Ormond, whose land you can see on the map. This is an earldom, a county tier title inside your realm. Go here for an overview of things, such as your vassal's current opinion of you, whether they are considered a powerful vassal or not, and the levels of taxes and levies they are currently providing you with. It's worthwhile keeping your vassals happy. This keeps them out of schemes and factions against you. No matter how mighty a ruler your character is, if your realm unites against you, either to depose you or you through war, or just to murder you while you sleep, your reign is bound to be cut short. Some of your vassals might serve on your council, making their opinion extra important, as they will be trusted with counselor tasks. There is a limit to how many vassals you can comfortably be in charge of before your realm becomes unwieldy. Going beyond this vassal limits affects taxes and levies provided to you. This doesn't matter for the tutorial, but when you start to build your own kingdom, be mindful of growing too fast. If you end up exceeding your vassal limit, you can grant lower ranking titles away to your vassals. Sometimes you can even create new higher tier titles to consolidate the power in an area and the titles underneath it. So yes, we've got our two vassals, the Earl of that county and the Mayor of that one city, and we have a vassal limit of 1 out of 20 because he is a Baron level, does not count against this. Got it. And that's a Duke, we can have up to 20. Okay. Chapter 12, Domain. Realm and Domain. Your realm is the complete body of land and titles that you own, including the areas held by your vassals. Right now, for you, this means the counties called earldoms, due to your Irish culture, of Thomond and Ormond. When Domain is used, we are instead referring to the land that you own personally, without vassals, Thomond. Some things that happen will only affect your domain, Thomond, while other things will impact your entire realm, the Duchy, or Petty Kingdom, of Munster. Note that there is a limit to how much land you can hold personally before you start incurring penalties, the domain limit. When you go above your domain limit, it can be a good idea to use the grant title interaction on characters you are friendly with, making them your vassals. As you have no spare titles to give away, you cannot currently do this, but you would otherwise find it in the character menu visible when right-clicking on a character. Yes, right up here it says our domain holdings, 1 out of 5. We have a castle, our only holding. We're allowed to have 5 because of a duke, and because +1 of bailiffs. I don't have any indication what that +1's coming from. The ledger, again, doesn't have anything there, and our stewardship is giving us +1, so we have at least 5 points. Okay, cool. Council, Chapter 13. Managing a realm is a lot of work. As a ruler, you have the help of your council. These can be either vassals or members of your court, and they act as your trusted advisors. There's one corresponding to each area of skill. Married rulers will also have their spouse assisting them. Open the council view highlighted. This is F4, yes. Council tasks. Counselors can be set to work, and they all do different things. You can change a counselor's task by clicking on the button near their portrait in the council view. Being a counselor is a prestigious position. Powerful vassals will expect to be chosen for it, and will be unhappy if left out. This is our bishop. Those are the roles he can do. He is not able to do this because there's no valid targets, but each of the counselors have 3 different tasks of which they can perform if possible. Okay, I understand. Schemes, Chapter 14. Schemes are long-term goals aimed at another character. They can have hostile goals like murder or abduction of your target, or be wholesome, such as the befriend scheme. Open the intrigue view. Inspect the scheme status. Should be open by default. I'm assuming that's F6. Yes. So F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, F8. Yep. Okay, cool. I like my shortcuts. Schemes are long-term goals aimed at another character. Oh yes, we already did that. Next. A good time to use a scheme might be when you find the line of succession not being as clear-cut as you'd like. One way to get ahead is simply remove the competition quietly with no witnesses. Murder schemes come with the risk of discovery. If your attempt goes awry, it will make your character unpopular, especially with your target. The sway scheme is made for increasing the opinion someone has of your character. Let's try it. Open the council view, and then right-click on your court chaplain, your bishop, and choose the sway. Okay, so we're going to right-click on him, and we're going to sway. 35% chance of success. That's not very good. 22 months. Expected time to complete. Every month there's a predicted chance of 44% to progress based on scheme power versus scheme resistant. Okay. So it doesn't help that he is apparently paranoid. But alright, we'll see what happens. Excellent. Once set in motion, your scheme will slowly progress over time. The time before conclusion is reached will vary depending on its success chance, which can be affected by relevant skills. In this case, it is affected by your diplomacy. If you are unhappy with their scheme, you can always cancel it by clicking the Abandon Scheme button. So we'll go back to the Intrigue tab and abandon the scheme, because that is not going to happen most likely. Alright. Sometimes schemes can give rise to secrets. If you catch someone trying to commit murder, it's probably in their best interest to make sure you keep it quiet. You can also blackmail them to gain a hook. Hook represents a favor you can call in with a particular character, encouraging or forcing them to do your bidding. As you play, you'll find many different ways to gain and use hooks. When you start playing, experiment with it. Next, let's pretend you have managed to get a hook on one of your vassals. Let's inspect the Hooks and Secrets tab. Yes, we have none of them, but we'll discover some stuff. Oh, we just discovered a hook that we have. Thanks, tutorial. This weak hook can be used for a number of things. One is to increase the obligations set by the feudal contract you have with a feudal vassal. To access the menu for changing your feudal contract, go to your vassal list in the realm view, or right-click his portrait to choose Modify Feudal Contract. You may notice that some interactions are not immediately visible. This is because when you have many interactions available, the Character Interactions menu only displays the most common ones. To display missing interactions, click the More button in each vassalage and court category. So we could... well, we couldn't revoke the title, but I could modify or potentially imprison. Alright, interesting. I understand. War, the chapter all of you have been waiting for. Chapter 15. War is an essential part of Crusader Kings. There are a lot of concepts to cover, but for now, let's touch briefly on some of them. The rest and the details we will let you discover as you start playing. So, the most important things in any war are the battles, which are fought by armies. Most of your soldiers will come from levies, but you can expand your army by employing men-at-arms. If things get really tough, you can also hire mercenaries, provided you have the gold. Open the military view. So that's F3. Okay, so it is opened. We see that we have 633 total soldiers, of which 627 are levies, and 6 of them are knights. We could have up to 10 knights total, and we have no men-at-arms currently. When a war starts, you'll be able to raise your armies from this screen via the Raise All Armies button. When the war is over, you will have to disband your soldiers before starting another war. Ah, yes, disband all. Rally points are mustering grounds for the levies and men-at-arms under your control. Do we have... Yeah, we have a rally point. Yes, here. In our only holding. Okay. To start a war, you'll need a legitimate reason. A casus belli against another ruler. There are various ways to obtain a casus belli. You might have de jure titles that make you the rightful liege of your target. You might inherit claims, or you could pursue holy wars against nearby infidels. Although these are the most common, there are dozens of different types of casus bellis for you to discover and use as you play. The easiest and most straightforward way to acquire claims is to use Fabricate Claim on County. This is something your court chaplain sees to through one of his counselor tasks. Alright. Almost there! Chapter 16, Unpausing. Soon we'll let you unpause the game. There are just a few things to go over first. Firstly, it's important to know that there are 5 different speeds available for you to play at. Press keys 1 through 5 to easily switch between them, and you'll be able to pause or change the pace whenever you want. Secondly, for certain important events, the game will auto-pause for you. There's nothing wrong with playing at lower speeds, increasing the speed when things are quiet, or slowing it down when you go to war. Generally, we recommend you pause the game when inspecting menus or are faced with tough decisions. Well, I mean, we're often speed 5 warriors here, so we'll see how often we have to slow things down. Starting the game. To start the ticking of time, unpause the game using the spacebar or by clicking the play button. This will let days, months, and years go by. Armies told to do so will move, events will occur on screen, letters will be sent, and characters will age. Find a speed that's comfortable for you. You can always change it later. I understand. What now? Now, as a first task, let's remind your neighbor, the Earl of Desmond, who his rightful liege truly is. If it happens to expand your realm, so be it. Using the character interaction system that we went over earlier, and selecting him via the map, declare war on the ruler of Desmond. You should already have a valid casus belli, as his title is de jure a part of your realm. For a more hands-on experience, we'll now walk you through what happens in the flow of war. Declare war on Earl Murdoch of Desmond. Alright, well, there he is. We will right-click and declare war to seize the Earldom of Desmond, which we have a de jure claim on. And we have 2 allies. Yes, our wife and our son's wife's brother or something. As that's where we got that one from, I believe. Alright, so let's declare war. No casus belli. Oh, I have to actually click on it. There we go. Yes. If you enforce your demands, if we white peace, if we surrender. Well, we're going to enforce our demands, obviously. We've got our objective to take the earldom. His army is vastly inferior, so that's good to know. I can see it right there. We'll have 100 prestige cost for claiming the titles. He has no alliances. Yeah, this should be an easy war. Declare war. Alright. Raise armies. You have successfully declared a war. Next, you should rally your armies. A button has appeared at the bottom of your screen to help you, but you can also do this from your military view. Wherever your rally point is, in this case Thomond, that's where your army will gather and await your instruction. Note, you have to unpause the game and press the spacebar for your army to gather more than a handful of men. Leave it a few days and the army will form. Raise all armies. I understand. To move your army, left-click on the army on the map, and right-click on the area you want them to go, perhaps the enemy capital, Barony. If you order your army across waters, it will embark, turning into a fleet. For now, let's stay on land. Oh yeah, there's no reason to get on a boat right now. Alright, so we'll select these. We will go ahead and unpause to begin the flow of time to get all of our troops together. There they all are. And then we will invade. Now that your army is moving, it is probably heading into battle with enemy forces. This can be a head-on encounter with other armies or the start of a siege. Battles will happen automatically if 2 hostile armies cross paths. Similarly, sieges will occur when you place your army on an enemy holding. This is a good time to unpause the game if you haven't done so yet. Otherwise, time stands still and your armies will not move. I understand. We have an elite quality of troops. Quality gauges the power of an army relative to its number of soldiers. An army that only contains knights and men-at-arms will be of high quality, while an army containing a large number of levies will be of lower quality. This means that a smaller army with a high quality will punch well above their weight. Carefully consider both the amount of soldiers and quality before engaging the enemy. We got our 10 knights. Oh, we got more knights than we originally had. That's good to know. A commander advantage of 32. That seems high. I don't get a high, excellent anything from that number, but it seems high. Rough terrain expert. Oh, okay. We are heading into wetlands, which is a rough terrain. Oh, wow. That sounds good to me. We'll arrive in 19 days. So, yes, let us arrive. We can have our battle. Oh. Well, we got a little pop-up here for our wedding. With my marriage to Petty Queen Igdefu, the realm expects us to throw a suitably extravagant wedding celebration. It is well within my right to collect a royal aid duty as part of this, but some may consider it tasteless to levy an extra tax during a time of jubilation. So either, of course, I will collect it, who pays for their own wedding, and get 75 gold, or I'll let my subjects enjoy the festivities without worry or care. Well, we just lost 100 prestige, and this is going to give us 350. I think we lost 100 when we had the marriage in the first place, so this is going to even things out, so I think this is good. Let them celebrate without any reason to worry. Is this? Oh, there's the potential battle in 10 days, which we'll probably win. Only thing going for them is that they're defending in wetlands, but I'm a good commander in wetlands, we just saw, so let's get in there. A battle! The outcome of a battle between two armies depend on a number of things. The number of levies both sides have, which, if any, men-at-arms either side is using, the commander involved, and even the terrain you're fighting on. More details can be gleaned from the combat view. Click on your fighting army to open it. Well, we were already clicked on them, so we can see it here. So we've got plus 21 advantage favor to us. And these are the dice rolls, so there's still a little element of chance. And this is the first phase, the maneuver phase. We're preparing for the battle. Yeah, he only has 10 advantage. His commander is not good at all. He's in the wrong terrain, and this is just gonna go terrible for him. That's the battle flow. New cultural fascination. Your culture is now fascinated by the battlements innovation. Oh, okay. Looks like we won the battle. We've captured the mayor of Baltimore and the chancellor of the Earl after winning. Okay. Yes, that's the gift we sent. That's the marriage of our son. And that's who we captured. Alright. Your army is attacking an enemy holding. Click on the highlighted icon to find out how it's going. You need to win sieges to win most wars, as they increase your war score. I mean, we're at 50% just from that one battle. I think we destroyed his entire army, looks like. Whenever a siege is won, it takes a few rounds of attack. The area will become occupied, changing its regular look on the map to a striped one. The color of the stripe shows who has occupied a holding. Since your color on the map is green, holdings that you have occupied have green stripes. A holding occupied by the King of France, however, would have blue stripes, one occupied by the Kingdom of England, red, and so on. Alright. Well, war score. To get an idea of who is winning in a war, you can always look at the war score. In the lower right corner, it goes from negative 100 to 100, and changes the pace of battles and sieges won or lost, as well as territory occupied. At a 100 war score, you can force the other side to accept your peace officer. Conversely, at a negative 100 war score, they can force you to accept their peace offer. Well, we're definitely going to force them, because we're going to win this. All wars end in one of three ways: victory, white peace, or defeat. The exact consequences of any of these change depend on the casus belli used, and details for a specific war can be found by right-clicking your enemy ruler and selecting Offer Peace. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this siege done, and we will win the war. We don't have any siege weapons, so the progress is slow. I think we will go up to speed 5. Let these sieges tick. There's different events that are occurring at every step along the way. Sinful Archbishop exposed. Is that our Archbishop? No, that's not ours. I don't care about that then. Victory is near. Yes, we've completed our siege. War score is at 100. You are now able to use enforced demands on the enemy ruler. Right-click that character and select Offer Peace, or click on the war score to open the same menu. Okay, so open the war view, highlighted. We've captured his bishop and 2 others during the siege. Yes, and then that's where we won the siege. We got 29 gold from the occupation. We got 50 from battles, which is the max apparently, and we got 100 from occupying, and then 25. We've captured his heir. Oh, okay, so well, it only goes to 100, but we definitely won. I assume we'll just enforce demands. I want to make sure there wasn't another pop-up that popped, but there is not. Enforce demand. But we will make him our vassal, gain prestige, spend a little bit, gain some fame. All looks good for a war victory that only took 7 months. To my liege, may you live in harmony and contentment. You are a much greater foe than I imagined. In order to put an end to this bloodshed, I will comply with your demands. We've gained the contested county, and he's become our vassal. Fantastic. So be it. Congratulations on your victory. You have now experienced what it is like to make it through an essential part of the game. From now on, we will stop the tutorial lessons appearing. You will, however, still be able to get some advice if you open them when they pop their alert at the top of the screen. In this advice, we will elaborate on the most important things you encounter. Thank you for staying with us, and good luck. All right. Well, with that, we will call that a break. Oh, no, there's more. Okay, what now? There are many things you could do now that you have dipped your feet in the essentials. Crusader Kings is about setting your own goals. If you want a suggestion, we recommend you try to become the King or Queen of Ireland. War is not the only way either. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. We should probably disband all of our troops because the war is over and we do not need them anymore. All right, so yeah, I'll put in a cut there. Thank you for joining us here in the tutorial Crusader Kings 3. I think we will continue on playing the tutorial here and see what happens. Let's see. Make sure we... Oh, we're not in Ironman in the tutorial, so we cannot get any achievements. So even if we became the King of Ireland, I would have to do it all over again. All right, so I will probably take this off screen for a second to rebuild this exact situation in an Ironman game. And so the date, some of the stats, you know, our exact money and all that stuff might change slightly as we switch over, but I mean, that was the end of the tutorial. So you can have seen that and any new tips or tricks that have come up with being in CK3 compared to CK2, or if you're new to the series at all, hopefully that helped. We're going to get things switched over and continue our playthrough so that we actually earn some achievements. So for the League of Average Gaming, I've been your host, League Master Genshnord. Thanks for joining us, and see you in the next one.